parachute.
A couple Bitcoins.
Money,
Hold up on my Nakamoto.
Hello, hello.
Yes, good evening.
Welcome to the Blockchain Dynamics show.
We are here today broadcasting live with show number 30.
Show number 30. It's Saturday, September 24th. And yeah, we're stoked. Show number 30. We're here with our special guest, Not So Fast Crypto. What up, Not So Fast?
Hooray.
Hi, guys. It's so awesome to be back. Congrats on the 30th episode.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, it went fast, honestly.
Yeah, this last 10 weeks just flew by for us. I don't know about you.
I'm here to make it go not so fast.
Oh, yeah, I guess right. It's right in your name there. Jeez.
No, it's, man, this year's been so good. Last year was, like, quiet for crypto. It was the year of sort of dead altcoins, and this year's been so lively.
Yeah, it's been incredible. I keep wondering, like, is it going to stop? When's it going to stop? I keep expecting 2015 to kind of come back.
Yeah, and we'll kind of get to some details, but since the last time we spoke to you, Ethereum Classic happened.
Yeah. That's a huge deal.
Yeah, exactly so. Let's see. As always, here at the Blockchain Dynamics Show, we are brought to you by Cryptopia. That's www.cryptopia.co.nz. We have a thread there in the altcoin forums on Cryptopia. We're sticky in the altcoin forum. Stop by and post really anything, and we will throw you 5,000 dots.
That's right.
Love those dots.
And I guess the first thing we're going to do is just jump straight into a couple coins that we're going to take some second looks at. We've talked about how, so many coins come and go so quickly. It's nice to kind of have a segment where we just pause and look at a coin kind of regardless of its position in the market or what's happened previously. So we're going to start with Blocknet, which I think is a good one this week because we have Not So Fast with us who knows some stuff about this, more than Brandon or I. And it's a really interesting coin that came at a really interesting time. And when we looked up some information about it, its goal, of course, is to be the Internet of blockchains, which would allow services to be sort of distributed across different nodes of different blockchains, if I understand it correctly. And beyond that, I'm not quite clear on what the goals are. So I don't know, Not So Fast, if you want to start with some information about that for us, or just let us know what you think.
Sure. Okay. Well, to figure out what they're doing, it's a little bit challenging because a lot of the web presence that they have is stuff that they created, the content that they created basically when they launched in late 2014 and ICO'd, I think in I want to say October or November 2014. And at the time they were trying to, they tried to, so you see on their graphics that they have a bunch of different partner altcoins, some of which are like long dead, like Util and, I think Apex is still around. Horizon was part of it, and then Horizon or something. Yeah, NXT was part of it. Then it went to SuperNet or whatever. Anyway, it was supposed to be originally positioned as like a competitor to SuperNet, and it succumbed to some kind of massive FUD campaign, and the details about that I'm still not really clear on. I know that the development team and the people behind it are kind of reluctant to talk about that, but it kind of drove the development underground, which sucks for a project that was looking to have a lot of community support. But I guess it let them toil in obscurity, with everybody thinking that the project was pretty much dead, but it really wasn't. The developer's name is Dan Metcalf. It's ATC_secure on Twitter. And there's a couple other really good people involved with it as well. A guy named Synicist is kind of like the community liaison, and that guy's a smart dude. It seems as though they've pivoted a little bit from their original intention, but the core thing that Dan was doing with the Blocknet was there's a kind of long-standing protocol for two blockchains to talk to each other, and it's even in like old wiki entries about Bitcoin and Litecoin, where you can create a transaction trading, for example, Bitcoins for Litecoins, and you just have to essentially wait for an extra confirmation on each chain.
Yeah.
But there's no automated process for this. So what Dan did is he basically built a secure protocol to automate this. And originally, his first idea, I think I've got it right, but his first idea was to have altcoins who provide specific services. Let's say you didn't hold any of whatever coin X did, but you hold a lot of coin Y. You could run a transaction, pay a little bit of block, the Blocknet's coin, and use the functions of any other altcoin in their partner chain. So it's kind of like a network of multiple currencies.
Yeah,
and there's arguments that say, like, oh well, you could like appropriate this altcoin's technology onto another altcoin, and that's basically the Bitcoin maximalist version of what to be done. Any altcoin developments, it's like, oh yeah, Bitcoin will steal that and it will be more secure. And they have a very strong argument with that, not completely 100% foolproof, but they have that. So where this eventually went was the partner altcoins, just like special offerings weren't quite as much of a major motivator. But what they found within testing is that this DX, they call it, or decentralized exchange, would work really, really well if it were to be used for an actual exchange where bids and offers are posted. So think Poloniex, but decentralized, running completely on your local wallets. Sure. But any bids or orders that you put up on the DX will be visible to everybody, and you could trade just like you would at some place like Poloniex, but you wouldn't have to deposit or withdraw any coins from a centralized service. It could and can be all done just with your regular wallets on your regular machines. So that's kind of where they're at right now. They're doing a significant amount of testing, and they've got a lot of different altcoins working on the service. XC, or X Currency, which was Dan Metcalf's first project, is kind of his maintained blockchain for testing of tertiary services besides the decentralized exchange with the protocol that he's developed. So that's kind of always going to be in tandem with the actual Blocknet token. But there's, Syscoin works with this DX, a bunch of other stuff too. And the neat part is that because they toiled in obscurity for so long, they were basically a 10,000 Satoshi coin that ICO'd at 25,000 Satoshi for a good year and a half. So there was lots of time to kind of load up if you follow the project in their Slack and kind of saw the progress of what they were doing. And so we had that pretty awesome test pump to about 150,000 Satoshi. Just recently, we're sitting at about a little over twice their ICO price right now, which is always a good sign for an altcoin. And the development and the rollout continues, and they're starting a marketing push. And I actually, I'm really bad. I owe them an article on Steemit that I promised to write, and it's proving to be more work because I want to make it not suck. It's one of those things where you're like, man, I want to do a good job, but it's going to take more work and this could be better and everything. So I hope I haven't taken up too much time yapping about this, but that's my take on it anyway. And I feel like I'm a little bit of not an insider, but I've lurked their Slack for so long. Like I check it every few days and just kind of read back through because it's really fascinating to me. And I always have this idea, as I'm sure you guys do, that Bitcoin isn't the only one. It's super important, and I love Bitcoin, but I think that the real innovation happens on the fringes, and that's what altcoins are, and that's why you guys and I chase these new launches, because we're so excited, and both about making money. There's that profitability thing too, but also like you want to discover something new that's awesome and just be like, yeah, I was there right at block one. I was mining right away, right?
Yeah. So one thing I'm curious about regarding that is there something that the blockchains involved with Blocknet have to do to their own code to be inside of it, or is that all on the Blocknet developers to integrate different blockchains into their system?
It's on them to add the other blockchains to their system. It's just basically testing the protocol.
And a lot
but
of
that's
them are
the
probably
cool part.
similar enough that it's not such a big jump. But I find that part that's a lot of work for some.
You know what? Apparently, it's not that much.
Really?
For simple like Bitcoin forks, it's quite easy and really quite easy. I'm saying that as an outsider. It's probably
Sure.
they're in the middle of testing it, and I'm sure it's getting easier, but they don't want to screw it up. They don't want to make it too easy and then screw it up. I don't know if they've added like forks like Ethereum yet. I don't know whether they'll work on adding something like Zero Cash or Zcash right away.
Yeah.
But it seems to be working the way it was intended right now, and I guess the next push is just to get some user mass on there and try to break it on a beta testing level. And the cool thing is, any transaction that goes off on the decentralized exchange, you wonder where the token block fits into all this. A small percentage of trade fee is excised from the trade. And you may be thinking like, well, what the hell happens to this? Like if I'm trading my DogeCoin for Litecoin, like what, how does that do anything with block? And the protocol automatically market buys the block token with the trade fees in whatever currency it is. Maybe it has to take a hop through Bitcoin, but it's similar to the Gambit cryptocurrency where any extra initiatives just market buy the token or burn some. And so that's what they're doing with block. That's kind of why what you're holding is you're holding the value of the exchange against these auto buys. So if it becomes like a major popular exchange, there will be a lot of trade fees. That means a lot of market buying of the Blocknet token.
Cool. Yeah, and it's looking market-wise. Obviously, it had really nice rise, like you kind of mentioned, and it's on Poloniex, Bittrex, and BTER, which is a nice spot to be at this point in time, I'd say.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they were lucky in getting that big rollout during the ICO. They had a lot of eyes on the prize, I guess, and they had a major distribution channel where you could even buy the ICO through all of its partner altcoins with I think it was Coin Gateway or something. The service is now defunct. I don't know if it was ever used for anything other than that, but there was a lot of hype and a lot of volume flowing in. That was late 2014 though, when just after the summer of altcoins, when everybody had a ton of money that they made.
Yeah, for me it falls into one where it's like really interesting technology, and I wish I had bought it a year ago.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I've always watched it and been, because it came out like you were saying in that summer of altcoins, I was kind of suspicious of it because it's like, oh well, it's with all these other pump coins. Like,
oh yeah,
is this ever really going to come back? And then, of course, it obviously has blown up in recent times.
It's still looking good, but I think we'll go on to our second look, which is suggested by a listener of ours. I'm just saying though, from the Minium Coin Slack. So thanks for suggesting something.
Cool.
He wanted us to take a look at Returnbit, which I think we covered the announcement of when it was announced, but of course, like so many of them, it looks a bit different now than it did. So we're going to take a little look.
Cool.
Returnbit looks like it's a script POW ICO coin. 130,000 coins for the ICO, and then it has a 20,000 plus block proof of work. This has a SuprNova pool, which I think is interesting.
Yeah, and I don't remember when that was added. I think we missed that addition, most likely.
Yep. But the theme of the coin here is it looks like they are going to use a trading fund strategy, like a stabilization fund type approach. And the selling point for them is that it's allegedly going to be a totally transparent system. So unlike some other stabilization fund coins like Nautilus, where you don't really know what's actually happening, they're saying that it's all going to be up front.
And it looks like they have an ICO that's going.
Yep, ongoing ICO. But there was some questionable things about this coin for me. One thing that I didn't like is that the block rewards in the post aren't accurate. If you go to SuprNova and check the actual block, I think it's on like block 12,000 or something, and the post says that it should have 150 rewards, but it's actually only 100 already.
Oh, wow.
So you've got the classic front-loaded rewards, and then an IPO on top of it.
Yeah.
And then some inaccuracies in the post is always something you don't want to see.
Right. I hear you there. This nothing wrong with this, but I noted that the graphics are definitely made by one of our, the Bitcoin Talk's favorite graphic designers, because if you go and you look at the coin revenue, you'll notice that it's almost the exact same R. I mean, exact same.
Just kind of reusing some of his assets, probably.
No, I don't think that it's even a developer's fault necessarily. I think that it makes sense to have somebody who's good at graphics to make your logo,
right?
But you're trusting them to do that, and in the process, you open yourself up to somebody kind of reusing a really specific shape, and it becomes reminiscent.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's the Fiverr effect, where you pay $5, you're going to get reused graphics, and maybe already out there in the world. I actually know the dev of Returnbit. I'm not at liberty to disclose the actual identity of who it is. It's somebody who's done some work like experimental altcoins in the past here and there, and I think Returnbit is a fairly serious attempt by this dev. But usually when I have an advantage of information, something like this, I usually try to just kind of sit out for something like this where it's investment related, and just be like, yeah, I don't know. But as far as I know, the dev's intentions are good. This is kind of it's kind of like figuring out what the dev wanted to do in the space, and finally after a bunch of time, and then just kind of putting it into action. So I know it's probably a tough sell for the ICO given those messed up block rewards, but I don't know. In your guys' opinion, is it doing well? Do you think, or not so well, or?
Well, I don't really know. I mean, I'm glad that it was kind of put in front of us to take a second look at, because I definitely had forgotten about it. I guess I put it that way, Yeah. So, I bet there's groups. It seems like, in crypto, there are kind of clusters of people that are interconnected, and there may be certain clusters of people that are very informed or aware that this is still something that's going on. But, it's definitely being quiet.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's on any exchanges right now.
Well, it still hasn't finished its ICO.
Right, but it is pretty well into its mining phase, so people could still sell it if they wanted.
Yeah, it would just have to be over the counter, I guess. Man, that's funny, because it's cheap to get something listed on NovaExchange right now. You would think that a miner would want to maybe fund their own market for that. I don't know. I'm going to take a second look at the pool and everything here. Maybe worth.
Yeah, I was definitely sort of impressed that SuprNova had it listed when we took that look at it. That's always something that catches my eye right at this point. It might be kind of short-sighted of me, but it seems like a really nice indicator for at least some proof of work coins.
But he usually at least takes a look at the code, so
yeah,
it's nice to have at least some level of validation in that regard.
Right. So cool. That's going to be our second look at Returnbit.
At Returnbit, yep. So Returnbit's still really early in its life, so it's hard to say what's going to happen with it.
Yeah.
We're going to move into our news section. We always try to keep up on some crypto news. There's actually so many crypto news websites, and so much of it is kind of that pay to post your announcement type of stuff that, making heads or tails of it. We're not going to say we do 100% at it, but we're really trying. The first one that we're going to talk about is straight from our sponsor, Cryptopia. They're doing Cryptopia term deposits.
Yep, Cryptopia's term deposits. So
that's so cool.
An investment platform for Cryptopia using their DOT cryptocurrency.
Yeah, and it is it's not exactly something you see every day in crypto, because it's going to be controlled by them. And they have 3 different options going. basically a 90-day term deposit, a 180-day term deposit, and a 360-day term deposit.
Yep, obviously higher interest for the longer days you do the deposit. And it's just supposed to be a way for them to try and bring some stability to the price of the DOT cryptocurrency, and to help them value the price of the services that they're offering with DOT.
Yeah, and they've gone through some steps to kind of prove how much DOT they actually have in these 3 different addresses that are going to be used to pay those different term deposits, which obviously is a nice little show of trust. So it seems interesting. I don't know of any other company that's doing this right now.
Yeah,
I like Cryptopia. They experiment with stuff like this, and it's on first glance, it's like a lot of the cryptocurrency people would be like, "What? You're performing a standard bank function? You're a
and
New
also
Zealand exchange?" Yeah.
As you know, we've had Hex on the show, and it almost seems like he'd be one of those people that might say something like that.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
So it's interesting to see, and it's like DOT has been pretty volatile in the last 6 months, 8 months.
Yeah, I agree.
And I don't know. It's just one of those interesting little things, and here it is in our news segment.
Yep, so that's our partner Cryptopia offering those term deposits. Check them out at cryptopia.co.nz if you're interested.
Another sort of economy-related news piece with Zcash. They posted something that they titled Continued Funding and Transparency.
So they've essentially come out and announced that they had raised a large amount of money on the private market for a share of the Zcash.
We had actually
company.
asked each other some question about some. They had said something about a bunch of money recently, and we were like, "Where did they get that money?
Yeah, where's the money coming from?" Well, they made a post about it. They actually named everybody from the investment. A lot of some probably kind of familiar names going through the list.
And companies as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Barry Silbert.
Probably one of the
Shapeshift.
more marketable bottom lines of this post is that it ends up valuing each Zcash token at around $15.
Yep, so essentially the ICO price for these early investors is allegedly $15 a coin for Zcash.
I gotta say, I do maybe respect an ICO that isn't just exactly on Bitcoin talk. I mean, I don't mean to offend any Bitcoin talk ICOs, but my point... Let me go to like a specific one when I look at like Bitland, which is one that's kind of off to the side and just been raising funds forever with multiple phases of ICOs. And they have like a specific sort of altruistic goal of helping the world by putting land deeds on a blockchain. My intuition with that type of one has always been if somebody's going to do something like this, why would Bitcoin talk people be the first ones to know and able to like exploit and profit off of something like this?
I think your answer is Bryce Wiener is behind Bitland, and he's a notorious bad actor in the space, or
Really?
I would say selfish actor. I saw some tweets about him being behind it today, and it's not that he hasn't had completely bad intentions, but they're primarily self-serving in my opinion, and he's abandoned some projects after getting a lot of hype and a lot of investment that he burns through with no accountability for how those investments are necessarily spent.
Interesting. Yeah, and I have
Bitland
heard that name
is
before.
he's tied with Bryce. Bitland's tied with Bryce, and I as a rule I avoid anything that he touches. Just I don't care if I could potentially make money on it. It's not
right.
It's not worth it. I have a bit of a sense of.
I hear you there.
There's some unpopular names in this Zcash list as well, but I would say...
Well, my comparison was going to be more so that we didn't see a post where it was like, give us your Bitcoin to get Zcash ahead of time, right?
That's what I mean.
This was more of a professional funding mechanism, in my opinion.
They're using it to build value against the proof of work chain. They're buying a share in the Zcash company,
right,
which has a subsidy for the company built into the reward system.
Which, if anything, gives them a incentive to either buy or mine Zcash in a high quantity.
Exactly, compared to the traditional model, which is kind of offers a lot of incentive for developers to just essentially dump their IPO coins for development costs or whatever. This will encourage them to improve the value of the proof of work chain.
Right, that's kind of how I feel as well.
Yeah, me too. And I like the way they disclosed specifically that $15.24 per Zcash coin. It isn't just per Zcash coin, but it's the sum of the Zcash coin that the investor will receive plus the corresponding share in Zcash Co., the company. Right. So you have to do a little bit of completely conjectural mental math to say, okay, well, how much would the share be worth? How much would the Zcash be worth? So if you could, make it $1 a share and then Zcash is $14, make it $15 a share and Zcash is 24 cents. So, I don't really know how you would value that in the real world, but an early valuation before launch is often, you never have a down round. You always know that if there is ever another investment round later on, they're going to want it to be worth more because there are specific big name, big time, multi-million fiat dollar shareholders involved in this. So
that way, doesn't it?
Yeah. And
I'm excited
the
about it still.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be. I think it's just going to be a really interesting opportunity and also an easy play, in my opinion, as far as crypto goes.
Yeah. So it's right in your face, I think.
Yeah. Conversely, people have been saying the supply at the outset compared to the demand is going to be extremely constrained. So there's been a few people. I think Jackfruit on Twitter, he's a pretty famous trader. He was the first one to say he thinks that one Zcash will trade at or above parity with Bitcoin on launch, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case.
Maybe momentarily, or what are we talking?
Well, he ended up making a bet. So 10 trades have to go off above parity.
Cool.
So
can they be within the first minute of listing?
Yeah, and can they be for less than a penny USD value?
I think they had a value component as well,
okay.
He put a bit of money where his mouth was on it, and I honestly think because the supply is going to be so tight at the beginning, we are going to spike to ridiculous levels and then trickle downward and downward and downward until there's enough in the system to actually use. Somebody else in a Slack that I'm in posted tally of how many Zcash will be in the current supply at the end of every day of the slow start. And at the end of every day of the slow start, I hope I'm going back and quoting the right number here. I think it was after those first 28 days, there's only going to be 65,000 Zcash. So you got to figure 65,000 Zcash trading all around whatever exchanges are developed for them in the first month. They're going to trade pretty high, and there's going to be a little bit of extra exchange hype and dumb money chasing it and some kind of news or something or other. So we could see something just ridiculous like 10 grand per Zcash or something silly.
Something preposterous.
It's not impossible. I'm definitely looking forward to it. I think it's going to be one of the more interesting events of the year, and we've already had so many. So
you've mined this thing on testnet, right? What's the block reward? What's the speed on the rewards and stuff? Do you know?
I am ashamed to say that I have not mined it on testnet yet. I'm really using the slow start as for my own slow start of getting my shit in gear.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Us as well.
Okay.
So the launch is going to be on October 28th, and another thing that I saw at some point this week was that there was a contest going on for an open source GPU miner, and I think the prize was $50,000. So if anybody listening manages to be the person that has those skills and time, might as well let you know now.
Yeah, get an open source miner going. I'd love to GPU mine Zcash. That would be really fun, I think.
Well, and it's inevitable, right?
Yeah, well, it's already happening apparently. If you guys are aware of the service Zero Pond, they I think just 2 days ago they went live. I talked to them last Monday on another crypto show, Block Talk, with Alex Sturck. I was very lucky to be invited on that to talk to them directly, and it looks like cloud mining always comes with its risks, as you guys know, but these guys knew their mining stuff. Like, I kind of grilled them on the technicals, and they knew way more than I did, which is awesome, because they convinced me. I threw a bunch of Bitcoin into their buying shares of their mining service for a 3-month contract right out of the gate, and I'm hoping that it'll work out great. So yeah, instead of doing my own rigs, I kind of signed up with them, and the guys Tim and Salt from there are really kind of upfront about what they're doing and about the risks involved and about like how they're structuring everything. So they do have a GPU miner that they developed. That was where I was getting to with all this, and they're not the only ones. Like, I've been parts of attempts to pay other developers that we know of, like Wolfo and Ampy, to develop something, but there's so much interest that these guys just have money flying at them and offers flying at them, and they can't make sense of it. So an open source one is what we want. Yeah, right. But nobody who's paying to develop it wants it to be open source. So I would imagine there are already probably 3 or 4 GPU miners out there that are closed source. Zero Pond claims that they have their GPU miner mines at about 10 times the efficiency of a high-end CPU.
Do you think CPU mining Zcash at launch is going to be futile then?
I don't think so, because we're not talking about a GPU doing like ridiculous amounts of magnitude over a CPU. We're only talking about 10 times. And if an early GPU miner is optimized to be 10 times a CPU, then I don't think the upper limit is any more than maybe like double that, maybe like 50% over that.
Yeah,
and
at least at first.
The memory hardness is a big part of like what the Zcash team was trying to do with this. They wanted to make it consumer hardware only. So like those GPUs mining Zcash, they may be using all the onboard memory, but they're using only maybe 10 cores of the 1,000 core GPU to do this. So they're underutilizing the hardware a little bit, and I'm sure there can be, maybe you can get a core to act as memory in some way. I don't know really. I don't know that much about the hardware at the technical level, but there's definitely lots going on beyond the contest. The Zcash team just eventually wants it to be open source so that the initial distribution's the most decentralized, right?
Right. I would think that then it would be a pretty high priority for them to make sure they actually have some kind of a GPU miner up for people.
Let's go straight to ASICs.
Like, even if it's not,
even
if it's not competitive necessarily, watt per watt with what the
I've always looking for the product. It's called a blockchain in a box, and it just comes out and it's got its own new new algo right away. Everybody just plugs it into their house. All it needs is an internet connection, wireless. Why not?
You got your own little blockchain.
Doubles as a heater. It's got a vacuum in it. You can connect a blanket to it.
That's got a mining too. It mines the blockchain as well.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
No, it's
it costs less.
It's just awesome.
And it costs less than 21 COs, 21 COs, like Raspberry Pi with a plastic thing on it. It's like $400 or something like that.
That sounds like a great deal.
Yeah, it would have to. If it's a miracle device, it would have to at least beat that, jump over that low bar.
So Zcash coming up.
Zcash is in the news. You'll be hearing more about them. That's for sure.
We're gonna look at some exchange news. Kind of a fun week because we got news from 2 different exchanges. I felt like that was rare.
Yep.
Bittrex had, they were removing markets. So, what did they end up removing? You wonder. They removed AM, BOB, FSC2, OC, VIOR, XPY, YBC, BITZ, and ROOT. And it's interesting because obviously they had a lot of coins that were pending, and these ones did not make the cut.
Yeah, they listed a huge list of coins they were gonna delist, and I watched the volume on a few of them, and it seemed to remain pretty low, but they decided not to delist most of them. So it shows that they probably are being pretty generous, I think, with coins. If there's any kind of active community, it seems like they're not delisting.
For me, most of these I'm not really familiar with at all. I think the most funny one is going to be XPY because I think that's PayCoin, right?
Yeah, I think that's the miners PayCoin.
Yeah.
AM, I think, was Arrow Me. I think that was like a huge pump at one point. I'm surprised to see it's already off the books.
Anything you recognize on there? Not so fast.
Beyond PayCoin and ArrowMe, I gotta go over this again. Oh, actually, beyond those two. I mean, I was glad to see PayCoin finally die from Bittrex. That's all I'm gonna say.
I think OC is OrangeCoin. I think that was from the ColorCoin days.
Oh, yeah, that was the final, I guess, color coin that was trying to go after black coin, and then to a lesser degree, what else was there? White coin, and then was there blue coin even? I don't even know. Oh,
definitely. And it's this week. Pink coin is one that was one of those silly It's on Poloniex and went up a whole bunch. That's pretty funny still.
Pink coin's actually still developed. I don't know what they latched onto. I don't think they're a breast cancer coin or something like that, but they definitely still have development. I think they just kind of took the color mantle because they thought it would give some early publicity, and I guess they were right.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's working.
One of our, and they could always rebrand, right? One of our when we finally do our year review with some award show. Blockchain Dynamics Award Show, one of our categories is going to be the best rebrand or something like that, which I think is going to be hilarious and fun.
That's an awesome idea.
So let's see, another Bittrex news. They announced another round of coins that are going to be delisted if they don't get some interest. They are ArtByte, ABY, Bits, BYC. Is that ByteCent? I'm not sure.
Is it ByteCent?
I'm not sure. DGC is DigiCoin, Exclusive Coin, FC2.
That Fuel Coin.
Yeah, Fuel Coin 2. Gridstake, MTR, NBT, I think that's New Bits.
Prime
Coin.
That's kind of a classic coin to be delisting.
Yeah, I'm sad to see Prime Coin on there. I think they should give that one a
SFR,
legacy.
that's Saffron or something like that.
Yeah, Saffron was big at one point too. First multi-algo coin.
Sprouts.
Sprouts, I remember that one.
Swift.
Yeah.
TES. TX.
Transfer Coin.
Yep, Transfer Coin.
That's surprising to me.
Jeez, that had a ton of Twitter marketing, so
yeah, it really did.
Surprising. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then Xcoin and XQN, that's Quotient. That was a pretty big coin for a while too.
Yep.
And
they also have 3 blockchains that are just not working for them at this point, which is Crypt, LXC, and UNB, which is unbreakable.
Yep.
Must have broken.
Hey-o.
Gosh, I was waiting for that.
I think, nice. Like we saw with the last week's round, I bet most of these will end up surviving.
Yeah. I mean, it's not actually that expensive, and if a community can't come up with 1.4 Bitcoins in 7 days, then it probably does need to get delisted.
And that's just trading volume. The fee on that is like a few bucks,
Right.
Yeah, it's not worth them sustaining. Interesting to note, both LXC, LibreXcoin, and Swift, BitSwift, were original members of the Blocknet network, so you can just see how far they've pivoted and left all these other ones, partner coins, supposedly in the dust from their original
interesting.
proposition.
I wonder how are those ones that would still be integrated into Blocknet when it launches? Or when
No, they would just leave these behind and integrate with stuff with people that want. Like they went after Syscoin. The Syscoin guys were like, "Yeah, that sounds awesome. Do it, please," and they did it. So,
Poloniex has a little bit of news, and I guess Bittrex had some similar news. So let's go with that one first. I'm sorry.
Bittrex has added a client compliance review process for handling new coin additions, where they're essentially taking anything that falls into any kind of category of being on the edge of what could be legal. So coins that are acting like securities.
I wonder if PayCoin falls into this category.
Yeah, definitely PayCoin. But also coins that are associated with gambling, coins that are associated with handling gold. And they essentially are saying, if you want to get listed, you have to pay the cost of us to have our lawyers essentially verify that this is going to be legal for us to trade.
And actually, this is something that I think they've asked coins for in the past, but I guess this makes it official.
Yep, and they're now saying that they're not going to bear any of the cost of it.
Fair enough.
So, absolutely fair.
Yeah, I understand that completely, and it's cool to see in terms of, I just think back to a couple years ago when we were just first getting into the game, like, the idea of a exchange even trying to go to this length is, you just wouldn't see it. They would just add anything, and
I can't imagine Cryptsy like filling out a form.
Yeah, exactly.
With the government, that would be very difficult.
So yeah, it's surprising to see the markets maturing a little bit, I think, in that regard.
I think it's good.
And in that regard, with Poloniex, like I jumped the gun to, they have a notice to New Hampshire residents that their service is going to be temporarily suspended.
Yeah, this is pretty sad news for people in New Hampshire, I think.
Yeah, I guess their state government must be making some decisions that are preventing Poloniex from serving those people, so hopefully they can figure that out. It's sad.
Yeah, the unfortunate, the other side of compliance, I guess. The sad part is when it ends up just completely screwing people out of being able to use the service.
That really sucks.
I would definitely withdraw my funds if I was in New Hampshire prior to that.
Yeah,
don't miss your chance, because I've heard of some I can't remember the specifics, but I know that people have occasionally been in these types of situations and kind of thought, oh, this isn't real, and then they can't end up getting their funds. So if you're in New Hampshire, just get your funds out prior to October 6th and then wait and see what happens.
Or learn what a VPN is and learn how to use it.
Sure.
And then maybe you can have a second shot after October 6th. Isn't New Hampshire, like, I'm not being an American, I don't know for sure my political stuff, but isn't New Hampshire like a pretty libertarian state? Like, they would... I'm surprised
they're
that...
definitely not Republican, but I don't know, I don't know much about it. We're pretty far away from there.
New Hampshire is famous for having a sizable libertarian community, for sure.
Maybe this is just being done to troll them by the other factions around there.
Yeah, they're just beefing with each other.
It's probably... It's also a very small state. I know that.
Right.
I know that.
Yeah.
So it might just be related to... the people that are actually there don't want Poloniex letting people trade coins. Why would that be? I just don't get it.
I think it's more likely that they passed a law that they probably weren't thinking about altcoins when they passed this law. They passed a law, and then one of the implications of it affected Poloniex, and so their lawyers probably saw it and were like, "Oh, we're gonna have to pull the plug here."
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, you're right. That's the collateral damage from people that don't know anything about what they're doing, making an overly blanket statement pass into law, and then suddenly something else gets knocked out by butterfly effect. That's crappy. So for New Hampshire people, it would be cool to have somebody from New Hampshire weigh in, either in like the forums at Cryptopia.
Yeah, that would be great. You know what?
Or something.
It'd be sweet if we took the step and actually contacted the state of New Hampshire banking department, had somebody on from that. That would be a good step in blockchain dynamics, I think.
Yeah.
I'll think about that.
If I was them, I wouldn't answer. I don't know.
No, they have to, man. That's a public number. I'll get them to answer. All right.
Let's see.
In other news, we wanted to remind everybody that the Esper swap is still ongoing, and you have to do that by November 11th. So you got a little time still. Make sure you get it before it's too late.
Swap your Espers. I ended up selling all mine because I'm too lazy to go through with the swap.
I went through with the swap, and I'm trying to stake the Espers version 2, and I am orphaning every block, and most of the time I have 0 connections, so I don't know what's going on, but I'll get at crypto coders for that because they're pretty communicative. I just haven't had the time to complain at them loudly.
One thing you might want to try, sometimes with those chains where like you have a bunch of weight and you're kind of staking like rapidly, there's one setting inside there where you can change how the spacing between your stakes, the minimum spacing. If you put that to like 190 seconds or maybe like even longer than that, sometimes it helps with orphans because sometimes you end up competing with yourself in some weird way.
Huh.
Oh, wow. I wonder if I'm doing that. That might be why I keep getting kicked off the network.
Give it a try.
I'm going to look through that. Thank you.
Yeah, Espers, I've always liked Espers, and I think once the swap is done and it gets relisted, I'll probably try and mess with it some more.
Another reminder, NXT Snapshots leading to Ardor, those are going until the 12th of October. So obviously it's a little bit late to get your best deal, but that's going to happen.
Yep, really excited for Ardor, and NXT was obviously one of like the biggest kind of blowout coins of all time. So
what was it, like 2 Satoshi at the?
Yeah, it was like a 1 Satoshi.
It was
50,000 times profit, like crazy stuff. But so yeah, everyone's going to be watching Ardor, and we're definitely excited to see what happens with that.
And Brandon, some awesome news is he's got his miner working.
Yep, got my miner up and built and working. I'm hashing away 100 mega hashes. Just
nice, man.
Popping. Feels good. It's been too long. I haven't really been mining a whole bunch, and it just feels like you're not fully connected with crypto unless you're really running a mining rig.
Yeah, I got a little bit of jelly in my system, to be honest.
Me too, man. When I had to shut mine down beginning of March because my landlord of my remote location saw it and was like, "You have to stop that."
Oh, bummer.
Yeah, I still haven't redone it, but the clock is ticking for me to rebuild them in my basement and suck it up and pay power like normal people.
I see.
It's time. I just have to. I
kind of remember those tweets that you did where your landlord was like, "No more."
Yeah, he was very mad, and I left everything there and sort of hoped he'd like go do other stuff and I could turn everything back on. But just a few weeks ago, he broke in again, and he's like, "I see the computers here. You have 12 hours to get rid of them, or I'm going to quote unquote put them into storage for you." See, he's smart. He texts me the stuff about like they're a fire hazard, put them into storage, but really that meant he's going to keep or sell, like whatever. And I was just like, yeah, I need my place. I pay cheap rent. This is, all right. I'll let you win this one and and get out of your hair.
Got to pick your battles.
Definitely.
In Canada, are they allowed to just come into your house without any notice like that?
They are absolutely not. But because we have a pretty bare bones rent rate, and because the area is gentrifying so much that now my lease and my rent is like really awesome compared to what the market rate is, I really have to just shut up and do what he says and
gotcha. I see.
Use for my main business and
He's
no
got a
extra.
little bit of the upper hand with his location.
With his location and with just his tactics. I mean, he's done shady shit. Like a photographer in a unit above me went on a 2-week vacation, made the mistake of telling the landlord. So the landlord rented it out with a signed lease to another party right out from under him. And he just got back from vacation and he sees like these guys building an escape the room thing in his photography studio. And he's just like, "What are you doing?" And they're like, "What do you mean? We rented this place."
Where's my stuff?
You a neighbor? Yeah. Oh, yeah. They put it in another little tiny room with a padlock down the hall, I guess. And so he wasn't happy. But what are you going to do? I mean, you don't go after these guys. They just do what they want. It's kind of crappy. But anyway, I digress.
Of a miner.
Plights of a miner.
What happens when you mine?
Yeah, this is what can happen. I got 2 years of subsidized electricity for as many rigs as I could possibly throw in there. So I really can't complain at the end of the day, but I will.
Yeah, might as well.
That's the way it is in crypto. Crypto really makes you feel bad about making money somehow sometimes.
Oh, every day.
It's like you got to have something to complain about,
Yeah.
So
we'll follow up. Go ahead, Brando.
The great thing about these new miners, the new cards are really, they run a lot quieter and a lot colder than I'm used to, like with the old kind of couple generation ago, like the RX 270, 280s and stuff.
Wow. What's the Fury is what you're using?
Yeah, I'm using the MSI RX 470s.
Oh, sick.
They're sweet. Yeah, they run at like 45C, and it's just really a lot more pleasant, I think, than it was back in the Litecoin milk crate days.
And so what, you've got all 5 of them connected to one Windows machine at this point?
I've got 4 of them on a Linux machine and 1 of them in my Windows computer.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
Nice. But yeah, so I'm having a lot of fun with that.
It'll be awesome to hear what you end up mining when this moment strikes you, because I know you're on ETH right now, but now you got that altcoin rig kind of primed up.
It's waiting to go. It's ready.
Yep.
Waiting for some stupid launch.
Ready to jump on.
Right.
Yeah.
So let's jump straight over to our random coin spotlight now. We're going to do actually 2 of them. We had an idea. Normally we roll 1 to 100, and that gives us a pretty great coin almost every time to talk about. And then it'd be fun to do a low market cap one as well. So we're going to roll 100 to 400 after that. When we rolled 1 to 100, we got 42, and today that was Vcash.
Vcash. This is really great to see come up in the random coin spotlight. We're huge Vcash fans just from back when it's still a little old vanilla coin.
Yep.
Same here.
And you could CPU mine it with just a regular CPUs and stuff.
Yep. Update it twice a day, and you're good to go.
Yeah, I had the worst time trying to keep up with this thing.
I lost a bunch of early mined coins from
so many
messed up wallet. Yeah.
I remember Woody just kept being like, "Dude, you gotta mine this vanilla coin, dude. It's worth it. It's gonna blow up for sure." And I'm like, "Nah, it's garbage. I have to update it every day." So I ended up I didn't mine too many with the CPU, but even just it was like 12,000, I think, and even that ended up being worth obviously a great deal by the time it got to Poloniex and whatnot. But
yeah.
If you could only keep your wallet from not being corrupt, because at the beginning wallets, man, those were so bare bones, like you literally could do nothing with those except mine or check your balance.
What I ended up doing, I just kind of ran it and I didn't think about the balance because I knew it was just kind of totally inaccurate. And then once the dust really settled, I took that old wallet that I hadn't touched in a long time and resynced it. And then it got all the coins fine.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
And Vcash has been a good coin as far as actually trying to solve some problems that Bitcoin has.
Yeah, definitely.
They've made it a lot faster to send coins. They have their own sort of idea about how to implement anonymity. And also, he's been working really hard to make a light client. So what he envisions is having these different types of nodes where, you know, some people are actually running, what do they call them in Vcash? What's the word for them?
Not just full node.
It's not master nodes. What do they call them, though?
Incentive I don't remember what they call them. Oh, incentivized nodes. Yeah,
Nodes. So the incentive nodes actually help process a lot more stuff. And then there's miners, and then there's the proof of stake, and then there's also just going to be light clients. And those people wouldn't necessarily even have the entire blockchain synced, and I don't know how that works, but that's kind of what's coming up, and they call it the zero ledger, and that's what John Connor, the developer's been all excited about for so long.
They also have an instant transaction feature that, to my knowledge, has not been to my knowledge has not been found to be defective in any way or compromised, I guess. And so, yeah, I really love Vcash. The developer.
Same here.
He gets a lot of crap sometimes for being kind of cantankerous. Person,
he's made me feel bad personally. Occasionally,
he's blocked me before because at some time he was talking about like anybody who tweets about these specific shitty altcoins, I'm gonna block you. And so I was like deep in the mining process trying to shill my bags away. And so of course I was like, all right, let's see if he does it. And yeah, he blocked me.
Enough.
He unblocked me after a while though, because I do say good stuff about Vcash,
right?
Because I love it, you know. I love what he's doing. I just wish he was less prickly and like, or just like, he just loves what he's doing so much, and he sees that like there's so much political shit surrounding other stuff, and you know, I really think that he's like the quintessential like unnoticed genius, and he's just mad about it and taking it out on anybody who gets anywhere near him, which is a shame.
Yeah.
No, it does that's a really, I think, accurate observation.
He's just like, it seems like he's not interested in the game in a lot of ways. He doesn't want to play the game. He just wants to make a really cool coin, and he wants that to be the thing that matters the most. But at the end of the day, you know, we see with all the highest market cap coins that, you know, playing the game also matters in a huge way in terms of the markets.
You're exactly right. And so many people that are, I guess, as smart as he is, just think they're so above it, or they see how the world should be, and they just cannot come around to, well, let's work with how it is instead, you know.
And market-wise, this is a coin where when the volume comes, it seems to come hard and fast. And it's happened again and again, and I would not be surprised to see the next time. So,
yep, this coin's going to be around for who knows how long. It's great. Great project. And at the end of the day, no matter what anyone can say about the developer, he's pushing the technology forward really as hard as anybody else in the space.
Poloniex being the exchange where it's only one confirmation for Vcash, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, so that, I mean, yeah, that says pretty much everything right there. The fact that that exchange is comfortable, having Vcash only be one confirm is, I think, a huge indicator.
Absolutely.
There's not much more to be said about it at this point, I suppose. So we'll look at the low market cap random coin where we rolled number 305, and that was High Voltage Coin.
High Voltage Coin. This came out on the show.
Yeah, this was this year, so this was nice to have one that we were a little bit familiar with.
I think it was like
Cool.
show 15 or something.
It was funny because I looked at Yobit, and it actually has volume today, of course, like 0.8
That's funny.
Bitcoins, which is more than a lot of coins can say for themselves.
Yep.
But, of course, dead website, threads not looking great.
I see a lot of posts by Not So Fast Crypto in this thread.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mind it. Yeah, it was.
I did
don't
too.
know, I think I made some money off it. We recapped it and we talked about it because it was one of the few that I was actually in on. So lucky us for getting to talk about it again. But unfortunately, it's dead. It was probably one of those serially released coins by the same person.
Yeah, and it was interesting because it's that. There's some guy, I can't remember the name right now.
Yeah.
And remember, he's like, this isn't my coin, but I'm posting it.
Yeah, K here or K here. I
And
don't
then
know
they
how
have
to
somebody
pronounce
else say, I'm the dev. It's an interesting thing to do, isn't it?
it. He offers like I think he creates announcements for people and then like as a service. So some shitcoin dev comes to him and says, I'll pay you 0.05 to format a post for me. And he's like, all right, whatever.
So this coin's is on Yobit, and it's about as good as a lottery ticket right now.
Yeah, seriously. It looks like it's pretty much dead.
And we're excited now to be once again at Show 30, and we're going to reflect on the last 10 weeks, which was the last time we spoke to Not So Fast.
It's true.
And man, things have actually changed a lot since then in some ways.
Yep, everything changes, everything stays the same. You know, we've had just a ton of new shit coins, a couple new cool coins, and it's always really fun to look back and see just what's happened.
So the largest one is going to have to be Ethereum Classic.
Yep, going back.
Yep.
Yeah, Ethereum Classic, I mean, it's just dominated everything. That came out, I think, let's see, that was first announced on Show 21. And I remember when this guy just announced it, and we were just joking about it, like, oh, haha, they're going to fork Ethereum, and maybe they should do this with every coin that hard forks or whatever. And then for it to turn into this huge phenomenon that it has is just mind-blowing, I think.
Was it like the 6th highest market cap coin these days?
Yeah, exactly.
How did that go for you, Not So Fast?
Oh, I had all my Ethereum at the time on Poloniex because I was trading it. So
Yeah.
I made a bunch of when they brought on the Ethereum to Ethereum Classic pair, I was trading that because it was like extra high leverage against the crazy risks going on. And so I ended up swelling both bags pretty decently. So now I kind of hold an equivalent Bitcoin value amount of both. And that was kind of
rad.
neat. Yeah. So I went heavy into like Ethereum Classic and a little lighter into Ethereum, but I think I traded up enough that I'm happy of where it went from a trading standpoint. But I think it's so cool as an example of like differences of opinions surrounding the handling of the DAO's failure, even from like a philosophical standpoint. You're either with Ethereum Classic as the original chain of what it was supposed to be, and you're with Ethereum as a belief in kind of the original founders and Vitalik Buterin. And
Do you find yourself solidly in either side?
I sort of went back and forth trying to find out information about what choice I should make, and I guess my position speaks for itself. I mean, I don't know. I'm just in it. I'm in both sides. I'm playing. I'm sitting directly on the fence. Like,
Well, I think as
I don't
far
know.
as trading goes monetarily, I think that's definitely the smartest thing to do.
Yeah, I agree.
And I actually don't have an opinion either as far as the ethics of it. For me, it's amazing that there was enough money to support Ethereum Classic to what it is. I
agree.
Did not expect that at all.
Yeah, it's just going to come down to what now Ethereum Classic is in the hands of the community or whatever, and it depends. I mean, they're going to have to be able to build a product that continues to be competitive with Ethereum, and so if Ethereum just continues to push the boundaries, then we might just see Ethereum Classic kind of get sidelined. But it's really exciting to see, and it really changed the precedent in altcoins for, like, as long as we've been watching altcoins. It's like somebody releases a fork and everybody just goes along with it,
Yep.
It's like they've never been disputed like this. And so now for this to happen all of a sudden, anytime anybody thinks of doing a fork on a coin, they're going to have to take into account this possibility, like, oh, what if somebody just forks off the old chain? Is that going to be able to eat at my own value? And am I going to have a hard time actually building consensus around a fork?
Right.
Yeah, they definitely set an amazing precedent, which is the two equally likely and economically valid outcomes, which is just so freaking cool. Like, it's basically why all these altcoins were forked from Bitcoin.
Yep, exactly. And so just kind of looking back, 10 weeks ago, show 20, that was July 16th. So just for an idea of how far back we're looking.
Okay.
One thing that really stands out to me for kind of these last 10 shows is we've had a ton of proof-of-work coins, but they're all high pre-mine, just like Yobit coins.
Yeah.
And as usual, just a ton of IPOs. From show 20, the only one that I can really stands out to me would be Elementrum and Jules. Those are both ICOs, I think. But I think Jules is pretty interesting still.
Yeah, it's done well in the markets, that's for sure. And I think they raised a whole bunch of money. And I also love the idea. I mean, it's cool.
It's a good use for crypto.
It is.
Yeah. I'm looking down the list as well, and man, there's a whole lot. I still really like Pascal. I haven't mined it, but I still really like the idea. Veltor is still interesting to me. Yeah, man, there's so many coins that have just come and went since then already.
Yeah, just some of the names of these coins that you're never going to hear again. Jack Sparrow coin, Michelangelo
Benji
coin.
rolls, like, what the hell?
Benji rolls. And these are most of these are actual blockchains that got launched, it's incredible. Lazarus coin, like what is anybody going to do with this stuff? But all in all, we haven't had as many big new coins in this kind of last round of coins. There's a lot of coins that are trading in this like $1,000 to $2,000 market cap area. Some coins like Emirates Gold coin is like that. Elementrum is at like an $8,000 market cap. You've got PX coin at $2,000 market cap. Let's see what else. XP is at $1,700.
Yeah.
And so just tons of coins kind of, they're debuting to these really small market caps. They're staying on side exchanges.
A lot of Yobit.
Exactly.
A lot of Yobit.
We're not seeing a lot of penetration into the bigger markets, and we're not seeing a lot of, we're not seeing anything really do that well on the side exchanges either, honestly.
Yeah, I'm thinking that we're getting to a point where there's sort of segregation off to the side of the whole Bitcoin talk launch to trade directly on Yobit, and then just kind of the blockchain will die, and then random dead blockchain or closed maintenance wallet pumps will happen. And that's sort of falling off to the side of crypto now. I mean, stuff that you actually want to pay attention to in mind is not really have an announcement on Bitcoin talk unless some third-party fan of what's going on posts it there so that they can get some discussion amongst the people that are looking to get in on the ground floor, like in the old school days, right? So I'm wondering if like maybe this is as far as altcoins anyway. I mean, I can't speak to the Bitcoin parts of the site because I never freaking go there, but like as far as the altcoin portion of it, maybe like this is the beginning that you guys are just noticing with your analysis of Bitcoin talk sort of sliding into little Yobit level pump and dump obscurity, and we're kind of maturing as another marketplace. In a way, it's sad because we like to speculate on some of this stuff, but you're right, like so many of these are just like probably by the same person just figuring out a new concept, putting up a high pre-mine, throwing together some graphics and sending it to Yobit, trying to squeeze ever smaller amounts of money and market cap out of these. And like $2,000 market cap, I mean, there's no bid side really supporting that. That's just like the last trade. There's maybe like 0.1 Bitcoin on the bid side of any one of those books. And
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, there's not real value in any of these things. And eventually it's all, well, we're pretty much seeing that's what saturation looks like.
Yep, I agree. And yeah, you think about a $2,000 market cap, that essentially means that you have a market that's at best marginally functional with, basically no liquidity.
Well, I mean, the thing about any market that small is nobody will ever sell you those coins.
Yeah, exactly. You could never acquire a large amount. They're just kind of, held up, essentially.
Right.
That's right. And there's very little incentive to mine, which means, if it were even worth attacking these blockchains and stealing some of that value, I mean, what's the size of the pie? It's not very big, and you could go out and get a job and make more money.
Yeah, exactly. Like a minimum wage job.
Yeah.
BlockPay stands out to me here from show 25. It's got a $900,000 market cap. It's a big ICO, and it's traded only on Open Ledger.
Huh.
I have no idea what's going on there. I don't know if that's a legitimate project or not, but
Yeah, I think it is,
Check
but
out
I
this
really
announcement.
I wasn't around when it was launched, so I kind of felt bad for missing out on it. But
a point of sale system.
okay. But I always love to kind of accumulate a batch of statistics on our
Certainly
new
one
coins.
of the highest. Is that the second highest behind Ethereum Classic, essentially, within the last 10 weeks?
Yeah, by far.
Yeah.
yeah, it's got to be.
So,
It's curious, Open Ledger. I don't know much about Open Ledger. Is that a new exchange? Is that like a...
I don't really know much about it either, but I know that they trade a lot of the BitShares types of coins.
Yeah, I think it's like a service of BitShares or something. I'm not totally familiar with how that works. Looks like
Oh
it's
yeah, I messed around with it a bit when I was trying to buy the Heat token ICO. It is a decentralized exchange. I had a bit of a critical look at it, since decentralized exchange is what Blocknet's trying to do, and I'm such a fucking fanboy. But yeah, it worked to send currency there. They have a bit of a problem with, I guess, redundancy. So you kind of have to fund the bid or ask side of the book, and so you end up with multiple different markets. So like 3 different DogeCoin to Bitcoin markets, and
Okay.
you never really know which one is supposed to be the right one.
Right.
It does work, but it's low volume, and I think that part of it is really kind of biting it in the ass, but it does work.
Okay, cool. So yeah, just kind of rounding up the announcements we had in the past 10 shows. We covered 105 announcements. That's 25 less than we had in the kind of the previous 10-week segment.
Right.
So pretty big slowdown there. We had 67 launches, so 67 new blockchains that came out. That's down 11 from the last roundup. Of all those coins, only 15 actually made it as far to get to CoinMarketCap. And CoinMarketCap is a pretty low standard. If you are exchanged,
Yeah.
like they will.
They do a great job.
Yeah, they do an awesome job of tracking basically almost every coin that's out there. They're an excellent
They sure
resource
do.
for us, obviously. Only 15 of those 67 launches have made it to CoinMarketCap. And of those, so this is what's funny. If we look at the average market cap, it is $7 million, which would be an 800% increase from last time. But that's basically all because of Ethereum Classic, which is kind of, it's not even really a new blockchain. It's kind of just the old Ethereum chain. If you exclude Ethereum Classic, then we have an average of just 68,000, and that's down about 50% from the last 10 weeks. And the median market cap here, this is what really kind of tells the story, I think. The median market cap of the last 10 weeks of these new coins is only $2,300. So it's kind of in that just almost pointless zone.
Man.
That's an 80% decline. From
Almost
the last,
pointless.
Yeah, 80% decline from the previous 10 weeks. So
That's amazing.
pretty clear sign that, at least in terms of the new coin markets, we are definitely we're seeing a retraction in quality coins for sure.
Yep. Interesting. Well, I don't know, how people decide when they're actually going to come out with their projects.
I think that when something like Ethereum blows up, the
Ethereum Classic, I guess I know how that one happened.
Well, I'm thinking of just like the original, the big Ethereum pump, earlier this year, February, March.
Jeez.
When something like that happens, everybody who's kind of had a blockchain idea congealing in their head is going to really feel the pressure to bring it to market. And so you'll see when there's a huge pump like that, you'll see kind of a rush of all of the cool projects being dumped onto the market as everyone tries to, not be the last one out there.
Yeah,
And
it
then
comes
now-
in waves like that. You're right.
Yep.
I hope Zcash can cause another one.
Yeah, me too. I'm hoping that Zcash brings kind of the next round of interest and innovation into the scene for sure.
We should have the whole alphabet out there.
Yeah, exactly. Why not? Ycash.
Yeah. That's kind of the summary of the last 10 weeks.
Yeah.
It's Ethereum Classic.
It truly has dominated the news like in an unprecedented way.
There are some other ones that we'll probably be talking about even a year from now, but most of them won't get to that point.
Yep, definitely. And I think that's going to do it for our roundup. And with that, we're going to go into the new posts, one of our favorite segments.
Definitely.
Oh yeah.
Like we just said, new coins seem to be in retreat right now. We're not seeing a lot of exciting new projects.
Yeah, but let's take a look.
That just means that the moment of maximum opportunity is coming, because when the markets really cool off, the next big coin could be launched and nobody will buy it. You'll see huge, incredible coins just kind of go unnoticed, like we saw with Vcash back in the day, and it happens time and again.
Yep.
So let's see here. What's new this week? We're going to start it off with
Proof of
the
work coins.
Proof of work coins.
VTL.
VTL, is that short for something, or is that just the name of the
I
coin?
don't know. Sometimes I've thought that was like, are the VLTs the video lottery? Is that?
Yep, yeah,
Okay,
VLTs.
so that's what I was maybe thinking.
From Trailer Park Boys.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, no, people just call it that.
All right, fair enough.
So no, I don't think it is. I don't know what this stands for.
Well, it's just another script big pre-mine coin, so the serial shitcoin developers were hard at work again this week, and they gave us VTL.
Yep.
208 million supply. That's a fair amount. And then if you get a pool together, though, you'll get 1,000.
So one thing I've noticed with these like horrible shitcoin developers is that they shift the supply around to try and get whatever they can dump for one Satoshi, like whatever people will bite with. And so when coins were really hyped up like 4 months ago, you would see all of these shitcoins coming out with like 4 billion supply, and they would just be dumping this pre-mine at one Satoshi desperately. And now everyone's getting sick of that routine, so you can see people are like, maybe I'll do 100 million, maybe I can dump that at one Satoshi. In a few weeks it'll be like 20 million, and they'll just be going to be trying to get, $50 out of the coin or whatever.
Yeah, not one single graphic for that announcement or anything. Oh no, wait, there's imager links. I guess that's
That's something.
that's something. Oh yeah, no, it's like a vector art that was probably made on a Windows 98 computer.
Yep, pretty much.
Antique.
Yeah. Next up is Sincere.
This is the same story. It's another high pre-mine script, proof of work.
Yep. And
We were making fun of that one. The graphic for it, if you click their imager link at the top, their logo is like
Yeah, these cats.
a bunch of cute cats and a little
Nice.
Bitcoin symbol in the bottom left corner and some dandelion seeds flowing.
Yeah, it
That's
looks like
funny.
one of those things that an iPhone would generate for you with your gallery if all your gallery was just a bunch of cats and a Bitcoin thing.
Yeah, like you go to a website, you post a caption, and it puts cats everywhere for you or something. That's what they
brilliant.
came up with.
You're
That's
exactly
sincere.
right about that, though. I'm sure that's what happened.
But this is crypto, and that's a blockchain. It's out there, so go get some, I guess.
Yobit soon.
Next is Livia Coin, which is probably a virus.
Yeah, we thought it was interesting that OC Miner took the time to create his own post kind of warning people about this coin because he doesn't do that often.
Yep, it's true.
And it doesn't... they have a weird discussion in that thread, in which yeah, who knows? I would say this coin is trash.
Does he dispute the virus claim?
He actually accuses OC Miner of spreading viruses.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
that's
then
cool.
Oh my
he's
God.
like, he basically has to defend himself to the point of saying, like, you seem awfully familiar with the instance where, he, like, accidentally maybe posted a link to a infected wallet because, you know what I mean?
You're right.
It's
Yeah,
like, it's the same guy who's always posting infected wallets.
Just kind of a tongue in
He gets
cheek.
caught.
Son of a bitch. All right.
They probably know who each other are more than anyone, right?
I guess.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
So yeah, Livia Coin. That's out there.
Probably not going to go too far. Atomic Coin also came out.
All right, so this at least doesn't have a pre-mine, so it's getting more interesting
All
here.
right, we love that.
Not bad.
It is a script proof of work, which is not, I don't think, anybody's favorite at this point. But I can't find anything to dislike about this coin looking at it.
No, short POW, decent block reward. This one snuck right by me.
Yep, let's see. Script, proof of work, proof of stake. Normal proof of stake instead of like high pos or whatever, which I actually kind of think is the best.
Yep.
You've got Killer Joe Grease begging for bounties here. That's kind of become
That is
that's
so
like the most
standard.
reliable thing in Bitcoin talk at this point. Like
Yeah.
the tides come in, the tides go out. Joe Grease begs for a translation bounty.
The world continues. I love it.
The world's repository has just like archaeologists 1,000 years from now are going to just be poring over records going, wow, like there's a lot of
I wanna know
Greek
Who would
records
give that guy
of
negative, who would give
altcoins.
that guy negative trust? Like just for begging for bitcoins all the time. Come on.
Yeah, people are
That's
probably
not
just
what
sick of
trust
it.
is for, is it?
People are just trolling him because he posts too much.
If anything, it's positive trust. Like you could set your watch by what he wants and what he does.
Yeah, exactly. He's incredibly reliable.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's reliable as trust.
So yeah, as far as ATX coin, it's based on something called Metcalfe's law. I don't know what that means. The premise isn't clearly pitched. It's a short proof of work. If this was 4 months ago, I might be like, this looks like a weak launch. But in terms of what's been coming out lately, it's about as good as you're gonna get.
Yep. Interesting user account. Not too old or too new. Pretty weird. Dr. Famous.
Famous.
Bunch of weird posts.
I find that those are often bought.
Yeah, that's what
when
I
they're
was thinking
when they're cheap, like when they're kind of like 2 or 3, member or full member, they're probably not too expensive to acquire from someone else who finds them. And I was made aware of like another vector where there's sites where you can just kind of buy accounts not from an actual user who has the password, but someone who kind of brute forced a bunch of easy to guess passwords and
Sure.
stole the accounts. And those are even cheaper than buying directly from somebody on Bitcoin
wow.
Talk who has accounts to sell. So presumably, I mean, I'm sure Bitcoin Talk is kind of rare on these sites, but when a bunch of accounts do come up, I'm sure they can sell for a bit. So I'm wondering if that might be where these are coming from.
Yeah.
That's a good observation.
And so that's Atomic Coin.
Next is Levo Coin, and really just another high pre-mine script coin. So not a lot to say.
Script. I don't understand that.
Yeah, no, it's like if you're, I think that's just the cheapest one for the coin creator service that they're using or whatever.
Yeah, they default to script at Waller Builders, I think, at Wallet Builders.
They can't tell that it's a drop down. They just don't know what to click on.
Yeah.
Excellent.
They
I think
skip that
like
step.
X13 right now gets a lot of hype. I think obviously.
I would rather mine X13 than script.
Yeah, a lot of people. The Ethereum algorithm seems to get a lot of hype. I don't know,
Yeah.
but most people don't want to mess with that. So yeah, that's it for the proof of work coins this week. Pretty much all high pre-mine stuff.
Let's take a look at the ICOs.
ICOs.
Big list, actually. It's crazy.
Big list of doofy ICOs.
The first one was End Road Bullying Foundation, which I think is Road Rage from where we're from.
Yeah, we would call it road rage here.
So they want to stop people from being assholes in their cars, which is great.
I don't know how crypto could possibly accomplish that. I think that's like a universe. Like I don't know if there's anything in the universe that could stop people from being assholes in cars.
Yeah.
No.
Maybe
the
self-driving
nicest
cars,
people.
I guess.
Yeah,
Medication.
that would be.
Yeah, extensive medication.
But what are they even doing? They're just going to raise some money, I guess.
Yeah, they're giving you the opportunity to send them some money. So, yep.
What else?
Yeah, on their website they'll be promoting a different crypto each month at no cost. Like okay, but
Why?
no cost and no benefit. Like, what does that have to do with ending road bullying? Do you just, due to awareness, like you get out of your car and shake your fist and talk about Huluhacoin or whatever?
Well, once you learn about Huluhacoin, you'll be at peace with yourself, and you won't feel the need to get pissed off driving.
That must be their value proposition. That must be it.
There it is.
But there's another ICO out there this week called YOYOW Coin.
YOYOW.
And
Oh, man,
they
this-
don't have a ton of information either.
They got something called proof of flow, so they figured out another word to put at the end of proof of.
I like it. I like that word.
Exactly.
It's a good one.
I think you could just kind of like do a random dictionary word and then just throw that at the end of proof of, and then do an ICO around it, like see if anybody would buy it.
Yeah. But they, of course, are kind of piggybacking on the success of Steam, Library, and Scenario. I don't know what yours is. They mentioned that. I don't know what they're referring to.
Yours is like a Bitcoin-based version of Steam It.
Really? Is that traded somewhere?
I don't
Or is it just
think
a
so.
platform?
I think it's just a platform that lives, the Steam It-like platform that lives on the Bitcoin blockchain, but I don't know
Interesting.
how it's incentivized.
I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah.
So I might check that out. But they basically claim to be able to compete with some of those high-profile platforms, and they don't really provide much more information, to be honest. So it'd be cool to see if this becomes the next one, but I'm not seeing it.
OC Miner posted in this thread, is there a bounty for hitting my head against the wall? He's got to be just so tired of these stupid IC. Like,
I love that he keeps up with it, though.
well, when they...
Yeah. Me too.
I think he's been a staple of my experience in altcoins.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know
for
what I'd
sure.
do without that OC Miner being there.
It would completely
Yeah.
change.
He's our
altcoins.
altcoin uncle.
Yeah,
Yep.
I love it.
So yeah, obviously he's hoping for some good proof of work coins, and he's not seeing them.
Just not seeing them, but he
Just
does
not
have a
seeing
snide comment for stuff he can't get involved with any other way.
Mm-hmm.
Next up is Inchain. So Inchain is the name of the coin.
I actually thought, as far as some of the ICOs this week went, this was an interesting idea, because I think this is a natural idea for people to have.
Yeah, I agree. This is
because we all pay
hands
so
down.
much for insurance.
Yep.
Their idea is to make a decentralized contract, a DAO, that facilitates insurance for people.
Okay.
Obviously, there's a lot of complexities involved with that.
I mean that's a really broad brush too. We're used to seeing insurance sold like in a specific context, you know, like home insurance, dental insurance, or whatever. So it's interesting to see them kind of going for such a broad approach.
Yeah.
But in terms of coin and new coin ideas this week, like you said, this is something that's actually, it's like something that you would expect a coin to be about. You know, it makes sense. And so for that, at least, I'm grateful, comparing it to some of the
I just
other
like the
launches.
idea of there being, like, let's imagine the Bitcoin utopia dream. I like the idea of there being a way to get insurance there.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Okay, right.
that's all. I this actual project, they don't seem to convince me that they know what they're doing quite yet, but that seems to come and go with the first week of any crypto project. So for me, I just have to watch this one.
And as with everything, you got to question, you know, could I just do this with Bitcoin, right? Can I just buy insurance with Bitcoin? Is that any different than what they're going to be offering here with Inchain?
Well,
And like you know, we don't really know yet. We don't have enough information, but
yeah. Well, I mean, it's at least different in the sense that the DAO contract facilitates the transaction.
okay, yeah, and I guess that's what's interesting about that is the fact that it is, you know, it's a DAO Ethereum smart contract based platform, and you know, we all like to hear about that. And it'll just be a question of
I think we'll probably talk about it again before it actually, the ICO goes live, because it's not till next month.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Their roadmap is like, you know, uniquely created, and it's an actual I forget what the name of that type of chart is, but like a task flow chart with timelines and everything. It's not just like a fancy graphic stock
Yeah, it's not just a
stock
joke,
sites
basically.
thing. Yeah. It seems like they're serious about trying to do what they're
Right.
doing. I can't really tell too much about whether it's a token that's all traded on Ethereum or whether there's just a core smart contract at
I
the
felt
very
like they
center
were
of
just
it, like they're
using
saying.
Ethereum is kind of what I was understanding.
Okay, so it's not necessarily even a coin then.
I really don't
It's
know. Like I said,
another platform. Ethereum's really muddied the waters for us. We're used to just having coins to do everything. Now we have to think about, is this a platform that uses Ethereum? I don't know.
Right.
It's great. Obviously, it's cool to
This
have
will
that
probably be a good
ecosystem.
one when there's more information to look back on, you know?
Yeah, totally. That was Inchain.
But why not some DogeCoin Junior?
DogeJunior.
DogeJunior.
Here it is. So
That's a cute little pup.
Yep, the theme here is we got a photo of a baby Shiba dog.
That's the thing.
Yeah. As far as I can tell.
Yeah, I think you're right.
They're trying to sell it here for like 50 bitcoins or something.
It's like just a modest ICO on a new exchange to sell a coin that doesn't really seem to have a plan.
It's kind of a dumb play because historically Dogecoin clones do well enough on their own, like just with the proof of work model. And so I think if this guy had gone with just this, nobody's made a DogeJunior coin to his credit.
That's all I like the name.
Yeah, it's a new iteration of the old meme. And so I think if he had just fired this off as like a proof of work coin, he might have actually gotten some steam, at least on the smaller exchanges. But as it is, it's just another stupid IPO that nobody's going to really want to buy.
Yeah, that was a mistake. Yeah, that's a perfect idea right there. It's like, why did they not do it proof of work? Like, miners would have done this. They say, oh, now there's a cute little Shiba puppy. Like, nobody's done that yet. It's it's so completely new. But the fact that it's an ICO and you can't mine it and send it for tipping, like, oh man,
yeah.
Whoops, whoops.
Right. Next up, we have PearlCoin. This one really stands out for me in being the most generic ICO I've ever seen. Like, this roadmap must have been copied 150 times in the past year.
Yeah.
This is the prototype.
Yep.
I am definitely getting them. I've always been... If you're going to do a proof... an ICO, I just feel like you need to have some sort of product that you're producing.
Yeah, exactly.
At least, not just sort of a blockchain.
Yeah, exactly. Not just the generic list of Bitcoin futures plus the generic roadmap, I don't know.
It's tough.
It gets boring.
I'm on their website, and there's just... Yeah, there's nothing that they're bringing to the table other than what cryptocurrencies already do, and rehashed and recycled descriptions of what any cryptocurrency does. And then their sitemap is hilarious. There's just like their list of social link backs is like pages, page image alignment, page markup and format. Like, it's just like you farted out this website so quickly, and put your own graphics into stock art. Like, oh, man. And how much are they trying to raise with this? Oh, wait. So there's proof of work and proof of stake as well? Apparently?
Yeah, there is as well.
It's just they took a wallet builder's coin and slapped an IPO on top of it.
Yeah.
Basically, we've seen... I think DogeJunior actually has a little bit of proof of work as well, to be honest. But seems to us that there's these ICOs that then are just blockchains right now. DogeJunior, Pearl.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
So
maybe that's their new strategy. They make some available by proof of work, and then they try and sell some of that pre-mine to anybody who might pay.
Well, one of the smartest things they can do is just let other people choose the price, right?
Yeah, I guess. They might choose a really low price.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter because they just took all those coins.
Yeah,
for
they're
free.
free anyway, right?
So what is it, $5 or is it $10?
It seems like they just have to get the 10th of a Bitcoin Yobit listing is like the threshold for these guys.
Yeah, it's weird. Here's one that's not quite that way. This is one that we mentioned when they pre-announced it, but DarkSilk is now about to become available for ICO.
This is like an enhancement to the Silk coin network. Kind of interesting. Silk came out just kind of... It looked like a pump coin when it came out, and I know it had a pump. But they seem to be trying to still develop value around it today. And now they're trying to add on to it with the DarkSilk network, I guess. But it is just an IPO, which is discouraging. I don't know.
And there was other components to it that I'm not remembering offhand. Remember that?
No, I don't.
It was like there was going to be DarkSilk, and then there was going to be other parts of the blockchain and other tokens that facilitated different parts. I don't remember exactly.
A multi-token system.
Yeah.
But as far as the IPOs go, this one is more interesting than a lot of the really generic ones, just because they're kind of offering a different a different take on the traditional crypto network, I guess.
They're taking some pages out of Dash's book. They've got decentralized budgets paid by super blocks once per month, so that's like Dash. They've got Storm node rewards. I guess that's like the master nodes.
Right.
Yeah, I guess they're, but I can't really tell. Geez, there's
And it begs the
stabilization
question,
method. Like,
why am I going to give somebody some money to implement a bunch of features from Dashcoin? Why don't you just copy Dashcoin? Like,
yeah, or go buy Dashcoin if that's what you need.
so, if they're, if you're
transaction,
if you're involved with DarkSilk and we have this totally wrong, feel free to let us know.
It's an interesting one. One thing that my conspiracy theory brain keeps popping up lately. Have you ever noticed how close Silk and Lisk are?
I have noticed that.
And Lisk isn't a word.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
yeah, that's true. And Silk is a word. Somebody called Dan Brown. He's got to write a book about this.
Yeah, we need to investigate this in great detail.
Yep. Thank you.
So that was DarkSilk coin. Next on our ICO list is a coin called 4X coin, and this post just kind of sucks. I don't know if we really need to dwell on it very much.
Yeah.
And the next ICO is Impulse coin, which is also pretty bad.
Yeah, it has some fancy graphics, though.
Does it? Let me see.
At least colorful.
Let's give it another pop over here. Impulse
You got the
coin.
blacks and greens.
Mm-hmm.
Got that color scheme down tight. But this is the same story, though. It's like a hybrid proof of work, proof of stake with a big old pre-mine just for an ICO. Kind of directionless, generic post coin.
Indeed.
So yeah, that does it for the ICOs this week. Next, we're going to look at a few re-announced relaunch coins. Huluha! This one came out on show 20, so back in July.
Yep. Last time Not So Fast was here.
It's true.
That's why I remember it.
I don't know if it got much traction, but it's...
Looks like they're finally ready to do their crowdfunding, basically.
Oh, it's an IPO.
From what I'm surmising.
Boring.
Yeah, let's go on.
Also,
Beats, another re-announcement. I don't know why these guys needed a re-announcement. Doesn't seem like they're doing much.
Looks like they just kind of reposted the original post that they made the first time here.
Huh.
Maybe a little more info. It's hard to remember.
They seem to be having a hard time getting any interest.
But it's one of those Yobit low market cap coins.
It sure is. Zayed coin relaunched. This is kind of funny. The guy got a lot of shit for doing a moderated thread, so he released an unmoderated thread. I think that's kind of a cool move. Usually when people make moderated threads, someone from the Bitcoin Talk forum will just get like pissed off, and they'll make an unmoderated thread, and then they'll fill it with, FUD and spam and whatever else. And so to make your own unmoderated thread and get out in front of it, I think is probably a smart move on their part.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm mining this right now. I have like a long-term cheap-ass mining rig rental that's I think still going, and it's it traded at one point it traded at about 3 times what my break even was, and that was kind of awesome. But since that point, it's been dumped. Kind of sell side is about what my break even is, and the buy side's about 70% of that. So
Nice. Yeah,
I don't know.
I tried to catch the knife on this one. I bought a few in the low 2000 range, and it of course proceeded to fall quite a bit farther than that. So
yeah, the slow proof of work though. I mean, they're publishing all these phone numbers, and they've got a website. Like, I don't know if it's since it went to Yobit so quickly. I had good fortune on DuBaiCoin. Like, let's see what these guys can do. This looks very similar.
They're playing it so much like DuBaiCoin, like it's so on the nose of them being like, this is just like DuBaiCoin. This is going to be the next DuBaiCoin. Right here, next
didn't
DuBaiCoin.
He even say that he knew the guy?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Usually you see him,
we're buddies, me and the DuBaiCoin guy.
Like usually you're somebody who, you run a pump group or whatever, and you're like, all right, we're going to make DuBaiCoin, we're going to pump it. When you decide to come out with the next coin, usually they'll make it something totally new and try to not have any connection to the past pump and dump. So for them to just like try and be so transparent about this, obviously we have no proof that it's the same people from DuBaiCoin. It could be.
I don't think it is.
Yeah, it feels like it's probably not.
By.
But they also have shown, usually when people kind of try to play that card where they're like playing off of another pump, it'll just go straight to 1 Satoshi. So it's weird to see them like they actually are doing something with this market. You know, they're trying to keep this market under control, and I don't know why. I have no idea why.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that is Zayed coin.
There's also a little bit of a rebranding of Insane Trump Coin to just Insane Coin.
No, big change, big change.
So that happened.
That's funny. And there was also a relaunch, re-announcement post for Zcash.
Yep.
Good old Zcash.
SuprNova listed Returnbit.
Yep, that was it for the new coins.
Oh, right.
Looking back at the new coins list, Atomic Coin, the no pre-mines,
Atomic Coin was interesting.
is the only interesting one. I think it's already done mining, though, so even that's like it's disappointing, you know. Otherwise, check out Inchain. As far as the ICOs, it's the only reasonable one, I think.
And, of course, Zcash.
And always Zcash.
Yeah, DarkSilk's worth like a read. Their brochure,
yeah.
their graphics were kind of cool, and like I wanted to read and try to understand exactly what they were trying to do with using DarkSilk to support Silk, and whether it was anything beyond a straight clone of Dash, because it looked like there might be something else there, but definitely not something I could understand unless I had a good like half hour to really throw my brain at it.
That's for sure.
I hear you there.
And so with that, we're going to jump into the listings.
Right. And the mining pool listing on SuprNova was Returnbit.
Returnbit, we mentioned that in our second look. Yeah, I think it's worth checking out.
On Cryptopia, they listed GapCoin.
GapCoin. Poloniex didn't list anything.
Bittrex swapped the name of Silk.
Went from SC to SLK. That's really funny because Blackcoin went from BC to BLK. I wonder why everyone's making that change.
I don't know, man. Why do they want an X in their names?
I don't know. I never have known why so many coins have the X in the name.
I think it was because Bitcoin on an early market was called XBT.
Oh, that's
instead
right.
of BTC. I think that's why. Yeah.
It's like an homage.
It's
maybe an
X, man.
homage.
It's extreme.
Yeah, it's extreme.
good
I think
marketing,
like a bunch of weird ass commodities on certain legitimate stock markets would get an X put in front of their short ticker name to show that they were a commodity. So I think when Bitcoin was like just a no value, like completely speculative realm in 2011 or 2010 or whatever, they chose XBT to make it look like it was an instrument of value like any other commodity. I think that's why they did that, but I could be wrong.
That's fair.
It's cool.
So, yep, that's Bittrex. On Yobit, they added a few Yobit coins. We got DollarCoin, RingCoin, Armory coin, Omicron coin, Beats coin, Spark coin, and the Ubiquoin ICO.
Yeah.
Omicron
I love how casually you said, yeah, we got some Yobit coins listed on Yobit. Like that's an actual concept now. It's just like
it's become totally routine at this point. I'm curious to see, the dynamic always changes. When you go back to like just the start of this show, the kind of Yobit coin phenomenon was just coming into effect. They were just starting to have their volume ramp up.
They had way bigger volume at that point.
And
yep.
But the people, we were just kind of starting to see this era of 50% pre-mine, 1 Satoshi dump coins, and all that kind of stuff. They were doing a lot of ICOs back then. You don't see that as much now.
No, definitely don't. You know what I've always thought is hilarious? That rise only market.
Yeah, Yobi.
It's worth so much money now.
Yeah, it's great.
And do you remember they reset it, right? They reset it.
Yeah, they did.
A while ago, and for a while it was open trade, and then they reset it again. And I'm just waiting until they have a new user base that doesn't know about or remember that, and they're gonna do it again.
They're gonna reset it. They're gonna list all theirs up all the way up the buy side. It's great. It's great. Yobit, keep doing what you're doing.
Keep being you.
Yeah, exactly. You be you. Omicron coin was that he tried to raise 1,000 bitcoins. It was that. I don't remember the guy. What semi-known dev guy, but I don't think he got 1,000 bitcoins.
No, I doubt it. I really doubt it. Over on NovaExchange, they listed Returnbit.
Nice
and
choice.
Leocoin.
And Tellurion.
Yeah.
Livecoin listed that Varium. That's the new VRC thing. Do you know what the deal with Varium is? Not so fast.
I feel bad because I should know, but it's an auxiliary proof of work chain that supports and strengthens the Varium proof of stake time chain. So it's cool because these guys have Douglas Pike has really been going after kind of addressing all the attacks or potential attacks against proof of stake and making it as legitimate as proof of work. And I think there are some like this is where you get into hardcore theoretical cryptography that nobody in altcoins knows anything about, and certainly I don't. But I try to read about it what I can, and I guess in the few attack vectors, theoretical attack vectors against proof of stake that still exist, they can be solved by auxiliary proof of work supporting the proof of stake. So I think that's the point of Varium, to keep Vericoin completely unassailable until those final few vectors of proof of stake are closed, and also do some that's his goal for it as a developer. But I think it's also to renew a bit of interest and provide another kind of ability for you for you to gain Vericoin other than buying it at market, like to be involved with the blockchain, securing it and everything with a node. So yeah, it's kind of neat, but it's a lot of it I don't understand at the technical level.
Okay, that was a lot more than I knew about it, so I appreciate the info.
Oh yeah, no problem. I guess I didn't know how much I knew about it, or could at least talk about it.
So yeah, they're on Livecoin now. Go trade them. And next is coinexchange.io, and they are hosting the DogeJunior ICO.
Right.
Is that the first ICO they've ever hosted? Do you guys know?
I don't know.
No, they've done a few.
They have?
Yep. They've been doing them for the past month, I want to say.
Oh, wow.
DogeJunior.
DogeJunior. Hilarious.
All right. Recapping those listings, it looks like... I don't know. Returnbit on SuprNova. That sounds cool.
Yeah, I gotta say, that's probably the most interesting of anything at this point would be Returnbit and Varium. And that does it for the listings this week. Another quiet week for listings. Just kind of the markets are they're waiting for that next big thing.
Definitely.
Yeah, you can definitely feel like the electricity crackling in the air. I feel like it's mostly around Zcash, but it could be some other stuff. Like, you never know. But I totally agree with what you guys said about the calm before shit gets really crazy. And it could be like Bitcoin mooning or even fucking crashing or, a bunch of different things at this point. It's just, this is a rare breather that you get.
Yeah. Agree.
And so yeah, we usually do our coin birthdays segment last, but we could not find any birthdays this week. So
Amazing.
Sad.
So maybe this is just a slow time.
Maybe this is just a slow season in crypto. Who the hell knows? But with that, we're going to wrap up here at Blockchain Dynamics.
Right.
This has been show number 30. We want to say thanks, as always, to our sponsors at Cryptopia. That's www.cryptopia.co.nz.
Yep.
They're just a sweet altcoin platform with all kinds of crazy stuff going on. You can check out their new...
their term deposits.
Their new term deposits. That's the word. I was trying to come up with the word there.
That's it's so neat that they're doing that. I want to get inside Hex's head and see why he wanted to issue term deposits. It's just cool.
Yeah, it's just such a specific thing. It's funny. But so yeah, Cryptopia, they got those term deposits there. They got all kinds of other stuff at Cryptopia, too. Like, they truly have a huge basket of futures there. Check them out. We want to say a huge thanks to our friend Not So Fast.
Yeah, thanks, dude.
Thank you guys for inviting me out. It's so great to connect about all this stuff and talk some altcoins, even if some of the new launches that we all like to chase are a little bit getting steadily crappier.
Well, that's again, the shittier the coins get, the more kind of vigilant you have to be, and the more opportunity that there can be in a way. So,
right,
it's always fun to keep with it, and
well, and also like we know now. I mean, since the last time we saw you, Ethereum Classic happened.
Yep.
It'll be very interesting to see how things really are 10 weeks from now.
And there's been a lot of crazy stuff that's happened. Monero went crazy. There's been just about every single coin on Poloniex that hadn't pumped already managed to pump in the past few weeks. So,
and I think you guys have really nailed the 10-week epoch of like cryptocurrency ages. There's like the age of Monero seriously. And the age of Ethereum Classic, and like seriously. It's like 10 weeks long for a phase, and we go into a new age. Yeah,
exactly. And altcoins are so fast paced compared to like anything else I've ever experienced. It's crazy to see how quick the scene changes. So
definitely.
Yeah, huge thanks again then to Not So Fast. This is Error by Trial Radio.
That's right.
And my name is Brandondoge.
I'm Woody.
Peace.
Thanks, guys. Good night.
A couple Bitcoins. Pull up on my Nakamoto.